Hi everyone, welcome to the Houzz Pro onboarding webinar. We're excited to be working with you to market and manage your business over the next 12 months and hopefully beyond. My name is Melanie, and along with my colleague Emma, in today's session, we'll be guiding you through a high-level tour of your ultimate program and show you how to increase your visibility and exposure, help you close more jobs, and manage your business more effectively. Following this webinar, you can expect to have additional training calls throughout the year with our expert onboarding and client success team, who will also help you achieve your goals. But first, a reminder to make the most out of your onboarding session today. Log in, take lots of notes, but don't worry, this session is being recorded and you will receive a copy of this in your email later today. Ask lots of questions, and you can do that through the Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. We are online now and we are here to help, so we'll be chatting back to you. However, if we don't get to everyone's questions, we will contact you via email after the webinar. We'll also be sharing helpful links. You'll see these appear in the chat box to the right of your screen. You can bookmark these to refer back to at a later date if you need to. But we've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. So first things first, it's important that you can log into your account and follow along. So you'll want to make sure you're on houzz.com.au if you're in Australia, that's .nz if you are in New Zealand. And if you're already signed in, you'll see Your Houzz in the top right-hand corner of your account. If you don't, simply click Sign In, and this will take you through to our Houzz login page. From here, you can enter in your credentials and click Sign In. Now, if you don't know your password, you can actually click the Email Me link to sign in, and you'll receive a magic link to your email and allow you to access your account from there. Or if you need to reset your password, simply click Forgot Your Password. You'll receive an email allowing you to reset those details. If you don't know the email address linked to your Houzz Pro account, you can email your account executives and they will let you know what email address is associated to your Houzz Pro account. If for any reason you no longer have access to the email linked to your Houzz Pro account, this will require you to go through our account takeover process. You'll see a ticket for this appear in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. So once you click in there, you'll need to select the country, select professional account access, and fill out all of these details on this page. This will go through to our support team. Once you've done this, you'll receive an email from the support team asking for further documentation to verify your ownership. Once confirmed, they will provide you with further instructions of how to reset your credentials so that you can log in. But if you know your details and you've managed to log in, simply click Sign In, and this will take you through to either the Houzz homepage or your Houzz profile. And now you'll see Your Houzz in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm currently logged into my Houzz profile. You can see Your Houzz in the top right-hand corner, and I'm on my profile page. When I first log in, I'll be in the back end of my profile page. You'll see I can make edits here. To preview what the public sees, I can simply click on Preview Public Profile. Takes me through to that view, and to navigate back, I simply click Back to Private Profile. And again, it'll take me back into that editing back-end view of my page. So now that we're back on the edit page of the profile, let's have a look at how you can make some updates to your profile to improve your online branding and increase your chance of lead conversion. So let's start with premium profile features. These are available only to paying professionals, and they include the company highlight video, standouts, and feature review. So let's have a look at the company highlight video. This would live here on your profile. And what it does is actually puts together the highlights from your accomplishments and your portfolio. To create your company highlight video, you would simply click here. It will take you to a page where you can choose from a bunch of different templates. Select one, and now you can start to build your highlight video. On the right hand side, you can choose between your projects and your content. And when you've selected that, you can go down frame by frame and choose which images and reviews you would like to highlight in your video. Then in the top right hand corner, you can select from our tracks. Some are a bit more upbeat, some are a little bit more slow. You can select what speaks best to you and your brand. And then when you're happy, you can go ahead and click publish. And then this will appear on your profile page as well as your professional directory. So this is a great way to capture your ideal clients quickly. It's where clients can get a taste of what you specialize in and the great projects you have completed. And we also know that 72% of homeowners prefer to learn about your company by engaging with this type of media. Next, let's have a look at standouts. You'll see I have some standouts already on my Houzz profile. I can simply click edit here. And this is a great way where you can select 3 selling points that make you stand out from anyone else. So you can scroll through and see the full list that we have, but if you're an Indigenous owned, eco-friendly, available on weekends professional, select what is best for your brand and then click done. These will appear on your profile page as well as your professional directory. Then lastly, we have featured review. Now, I don't have any reviews on my demo account, but if you have at least 1 review on your profile, you can select a snippet from your favorite review to showcase along your business name in the directory. To add this, you'll see an option that allows you to select the snippet you would like to choose. Now let's have a look at photos and reviews. So when it comes to marketing your business to homeowners who don't know anything about your business at a first glance, it's important they see the best of your work. So having high resolution photos, preferably taken by a professional photographer, will be critical to your success. And research shows that having good quality images will drastically increase your chance of lead conversion. Additionally, reviews are equally important. Year after year, we hear from homeowners that reviews are the #1 hiring criteria when it comes to deciding not only who they want to speak with, but also hire. So professionals with the best success have at least 8 to 10 reviews. Now let's have a look at profile settings. Go up to the top right and click Edit Profile. And here we'll see account information. So first, it's really important that your username is a representation of your business in some form, because you'll see it actually appears in your profile URL. So you'll want to make sure that's updated. Simply click edit here. And you'll see your email address. Equally, you want to make sure that this is the email address you want to use to communicate with your potential clients. If you need to make edits, you can go ahead and click here. And then scrolling down, you'll see more information about your business. It's important that you fill this out. The more information you have, the more established and professional your profile will look. So when you come to your business description, it is especially important to have a good description here as well. Make sure it's not just a carbon copy from your website. Instead, you add the most important need to know things here, such as what you specialize in, where you take on projects, and how you're different from your competitors. Then for services, you'll make sure you're only ticking services that you will be wanting to complete as a standalone project. So this will ensure any project inquiries you receive are the correct type of projects for you. And when you get to areas served, it's important to list all the individual cities you work in rather than just listing the main metro areas. For typical job costs, this is to indicate to potential clients the budget you work with. So we recommend adding in the typical overall spend of the project you take on, not just your fees. Lastly, you'll see cover photos. So you can select 5 cover photos that best represent your business, and these images will showcase next to your business name in the directory. Now that we've completed this page, we can click Update. So now let's have a look at your contact information. Go ahead and click on Contact Info on the left-hand side. And here you'll want to make sure that your address for your profile is correct and up to date. If you need to make any changes, you can always reach out to your client success manager, and we'll show you how to find their contact details in the Houzz Pro portal later in this webinar as well. Next, check that your phone number listed on your profile is correct and up to date. For Australian professionals only, call tracking is an additional feature that you can opt into. Houzz will display a different phone number on your profile, and anytime someone calls this number, it will redirect back to the number listed on your phone number here, and this will also allow you to see who has called you after viewing your Houzz profile. To set this up, you should see Activate Call Tracking here on your account. Should you wish to deactivate this, you can simply untick Activate Call Tracking. So now that we've updated your client-facing Houzz profile, let's take a look at how you can update your subscription packages and live connection preferences. You can do that by clicking on these buttons here under Houzz Pro subscription. Alternatively, these can be updated from within the Houzz Pro portal. So let's have a look at how we can get to the Houzz Pro portal. All you need to do is click on Go to Houzz Pro, the blue button in the top right-hand corner. So now we are in the Houzz Pro Professional portal, and this portal houses all of the business management tools as part of your subscription to run your projects through Houzz more effectively. But we're going to have a look at your advertising settings. So over on the right hand side, you'll see a cog icon. When I hover on top of it, it says settings. And when I click, I get a drop down with all of the different settings that are available to me to set up in my Houzz Pro account. I want to draw your attention to billing. So should you ever need to update your billing details for your subscription, you can do so here. But let's have a look at Subscription Manager. So when I click into Subscription Manager, we're going to see all of the different packages that you've purchased visible here. You'll also see the date that your subscription started, and you'll also see you have the option to download your monthly or annual invoices from this page as well. Now within your account, you should also see a button for live connections. As a reminder, our Live Connections program is solely for our ultimate professionals only, and this is where one of our Live Connections representatives will call homeowners who have filled out a questionnaire about their projects online. They'll vet their project details over the phone, and then they'll facilitate a warm handover with a professional who is a good fit for their project. So the preferences you enter in here will tell our team when is the best time to reach you in order to have a chat with a potential client. So based on your location, please save the following numbers that will appear in the chat box on the screen into your phone as a contact and label it as Live Connections. There's a number for our Australian professionals and a number for our New Zealand professionals. Now let's have a look at updating your lead preferences. So to edit your package, you just want to go ahead and click Edit Package, and it will take you into your lead settings. So the first one you'll see here is acceptable budget. You want to make sure you customize this to the size of the projects that you would like to attract on Houzz. Then you'll see scope and service when we click in here. Now every company operates differently. You want to make sure that you are selecting the scopes of services that best suit the structure of your business. Then go ahead and click save. Then we have standalone services here. So every category on Houzz, and we have over 60 of them, have a unique list of services tied to them. And this is where you'll see your own list for your profile. These settings will determine the types of project match leads you will receive throughout the program. So it's important here to select the service type that you would be happy to take on as a standalone project. And it's important to note that you can come into these settings and edit anytime and update your preferences should you find you're receiving leads that you feel are not a fit for your business. Scrolling back to the top of the page, let's look at ad settings. So this is where you can see an overview of what your ad copy and photo selection will appear as across the most popular areas of Houzz, including our photo stream and directory. Should you wish to change your headline, or update your sponsored images, you can always contact your client success manager. So they should be listed here and they're always happy to help out. Now that you've seen where you can update your profile, lead, and ad settings, let's take a look at where you can access your insights to see how your campaign is performing. Simply click up on the Marketing tab and select Houzz Profile Insights. So this dashboard is accessible 24/7, so at any time you can come here to see how your business is performing. Your client success manager will also keep a close eye on your insights during the year. So scrolling down, we'll see recent activity. This is where you can see how many people are interacting with your business. And reach will show you how many times we have featured you across the platform via your sponsored ad. Profile views is the number of times your sponsored ad has been clicked on. This is important because it tells us how engaged potential clients are with your business. Profile strength will show you what extent your profile needs to be updated to. So you'll see your rating here. Inquiries will give you an overview of the total number of inquiries you've received. Now, once you start receiving inquiries, if you scroll over these bars, a breakdown of where the leads come from will appear. It's important to note that your inquiries will ebb and flow throughout the year, so it's very unlikely that you will receive the same number of inquiries each and every month. Your median inquiry response time will show you and us how quickly you are responding to your inquiries in comparison to other professionals in your area. So, the quicker you are to respond to these inquiries, the better chance you have at winning that project. Website visits will show you the number of times a homeowner has clicked on the website button from your Houzz profile to read and see even more about your business. The online impact score will give you a rating based on what is listed on your website and how well it is performing speed-wise. So this section here will give you suggestions on how to improve your website. Reviews will give you a breakdown of all of the reviews on your profile. Remember, research shows the top professionals have at least 8 to 10 reviews. The photo summary, this will show you when and how many times your photos are being saved to idea books on Houzz. And lastly, the statistics by photo will show you which of your images are the most saved and popular. So should you have any questions about your insights, feel free to reach out to your client success manager. You'll find them listed on the homepage of the portal, and they would be happy to walk you through to explain how your Houzz Pro program is impacting your business. Next, website services. If you choose to have a website created by Houzz, then we can hover on marketing, click, and then select your website. This is where you'll be able to view and edit your website. So what's great about this feature is that all of the content on your profile is automatically pulled to the website, saving you time having to update both spots when you finish a project. Also, there is no additional cost to add this onto your program, ultimately saving you money in the long run. So if you did not choose this when you signed up, but you're considering it as you feel your website is out of date, not mobile optimized, too expensive to manage, or you're just not a fan of it, we can still create you a new website for free. All you need to do is log a support inquiry by the help button in the top right hand corner. Make sure you select website services as your topic, and a support rep will be able to reach out to you to help you through the process. So now let's look at managing our leads in Houzz Pro. But before we do, I want to show you how you can link your calendar and a few other settings within Houzz Pro. So when I hover on top of that gear icon again, you'll see this drop down. The first tab, account settings, will allow you to create branded documents and share these with your leads. So definitely go in here first to make sure your logo and information is correct. That way your branded documents will be ready to go. Next, you definitely want to make sure you link your calendar. So by clicking in here, it will take us through to our calendar integration options. And here you can see a blue button that says Connect Calendar. So by connecting your calendar, you're enabling that easy online scheduling experience for your clients and eliminating that back and forth when they're trying to nail down a time with you. So I'm going to simply click Connect Calendar. It's going to bring me to a page which will pop up and show me the 5 most popular calendar platforms. I'll go ahead and select my Google Calendar, follow the prompts. So now you'll see that your calendar is connected, and the first thing you'll see is we have a couple different video conferencing integrations. And we know with today, video meetings are becoming increasingly more popular. They can save you time from having to travel out to a client. So you can utilize this and select the platform for video meetings that you would like to select. Then as we scroll down, you'll see your personalized booking link. So this is dependent on the type of call. So whether it's a video call, on-site call, or photo call, you have a personalized link that you can copy and utilize in other mediums. So if you would like to link this to your website or in an email, you can do that. You can leverage this outside of Houzz as well. Here are all of your meeting types. So to create a new meeting type, you would simply click the Create button and enter in the details. And once created, it's easy to edit any meeting types as well. So in the edit settings, you can see that if you would like your clients to schedule video calls at specific days and times, you can definitely set that up, put in the description, and when you're ready, simply click Save. You can also duplicate any meeting type as well, simply by hovering on top and clicking the duplicate, and delete if you need to as well. But what's really important down here is making sure you turn on the toggle to promote video consultations on your Houzz profile. You'll see here that this will be displayed on your professional listing in the professional directory. So making it easy for clients to see that you offer video meetings and being able to select and book a time in with you. So now that we've linked our calendar, let's have a look at how we can manage our leads in Houzz Pro. So we're going to hover up on the Leads tab and select See All Leads. And this will take us through to our Client Relationship Management tool or CRM tool. And here we'll have an overview of all of the leads in Houzz Pro. It's important to mention that you will receive a few different types of leads on Houzz. You may receive a direct message, which is when someone reaches out to you and emails you directly. It's important to make sure you prioritize this, as it means they were specifically interested in working with you. You may also receive project match inquiries, and these may look a little different because it's based on the clients filling out a questionnaire online about their project. You should also reach out to these consistently, as it may have been sent to a few professionals who will also a fit for this project. So the faster you respond, the better chance you have at winning the project. And lastly, you may also see phone calls, and this is from the phone tracking that you would have set up in your profile settings. But we encourage you to input any leads you're working on, not just Houzz leads, into your CRM tool, as this is going to allow you to stay on top of all of your potential clients and client communications in one centralized place. So let's have a look at what we can see on the page here. You'll notice I can see all of my active leads, and on the left-hand side, I can see exactly which stage these leads are in, from anything new to meetings scheduled, any that I've won and converted to a project, and I also have the option to snooze and archive. And I would recommend to snooze and archive leads to make sure that this list is current and active. So all you need to do is hover on top of a lead, and you'll see that I can snooze. Perhaps we're at capacity for the next couple months and we can't take this project on yet, but the client is happy to wait for us. You can select a date or choose a custom date, and Houzz will recall this inquiry back when it is time to speak to them. So it's going to help you stay on top of your follow-ups as well. Or if it's not a good fit for you, you can definitely archive. You can select why it's not a fit. Go ahead and save. Next, let's have a look at how you can import external leads. You can import leads from this option. The first here is allowing you to download a CSV file template. It's easy for you to copy and paste details and upload back into Houzz Pro. Or if you want to import from an email, perhaps you have a conversation already in your inbox that you would like to import into Houzz Pro, simply forward that thread to the email address provided here. And if you're using Gmail, you can utilize our Gmail extension. Again, downloading this from Google Chrome will allow you to import conversations easily from your email into Houzz Pro. And lastly, you can manually create a lead by clicking Create New Lead, put in the lead details. You can select from a client that you've already got in Houzz or create a new one on the spot. But what's important here is you're able to select the lead source. So again, if they're word of mouth, phone call, or social media, it's important to input all of those into Houzz so that you are working in one centralized place. Let's have a look at some functionality within a lead. So I'm going to click into this lead here, and the first thing you'll see is the home page of the lead, and it's going to give me a breakdown of everything that's currently happening. So as I scroll down, you'll see lead activity. I can see all the emails that have been sent, any stages that have been changed. The first thing it will show me is the last message. Over on the right hand side, I'm going to see my lead stage, any proposals that I've sent, any upcoming meetings that I may have scheduled, and then I'm going to see all my lead details that I can edit at any given time. When I click on messages, I'm going to see all of the correspondence back and forth that we've currently already had. And to email, all I need to do is type in this box here. Now, you can email directly from typing, or you can set up your default templates. Simply click Templates and Customize. Create New, and here you can customize your default templates. This is a great option to set up as it's going to automate this process and save you time. We'd also encourage that you use our smart text, including client name, perhaps your Houzz calendar, allowing you to easily send information to your client, and again, automating the process as much as you can. Then you'll see that we can also star quick replies. So if you have a bunch of templates that you're using, you can go ahead and choose up to 4 that you'll use most frequently to easily send that off. Once you have your email ready to go, you can also preview the template style. So when I click preview, you'll notice by default, we have a slightly branded style with my company logo, a letter icon. When I scroll across, we have a more clean. And the very last one is a more branded style. And this will actually pull from the cover photo on your Houzz profile. You can also see what these will look like on mobile device. When you're happy, you can click Save. Go ahead and click Send. In the notes section, you can definitely collect any notes, and you can add notes to specific emails or in general. You can also log your calls here, and as you actually select the call type, was it a good discussion? This will automatically update the lead status for you. So again, helping you stay on top of your follow-ups. We have a file section, so you can do any attachments or upload directly in here and share these with your clients. And we have proposals. So any proposals or estimates that you would like to send to your clients, you can create from scratch within Houzz Pro, or you can upload into the system. We'll go into more detail about proposals and estimates in the project portion of the webinar a little later. But when you've won this job and you're ready to convert to a project, all you need to do is click the blue Convert to Project button, and it will move all of these details from the lead stage into the Projects tab, ready for you to start working on your project within Houzz.
Hi everybody, my name is Emma and I am a support specialist and Houzz Pro expert. So today I'll be guiding you through a couple of features on Houzz Pro, but first thing we're going to go through is projects. So how to create them, how to create your documents within the project, and just collaborating with your client. So to access your projects, we just select projects in our navigation bar at the top and select See All Projects. So this is obviously going to let you view all of your existing projects you've got, but also create new projects moving forward. So first thing I'm going to do is click on Create New Project in the top right hand corner and give basic details about this project. For example, we can come in and give it a project name. We've got our client. So if you've already added a client into the client database that you've got going, your client library, you can select it from the list here. If you're creating a new client, you can just click on create new client and just give basic contact details, first name, phone number, address, so on and so forth. Below that, we've got the ability to add in the project type. So what this project consists of. You've got a couple of options that you can come in and choose here. I'm just going to go in and select custom home. I've then got a project code. So the project code that you enter in here is actually going to appear at the beginning of every document number. So we'll be able to see exactly what that looks like in a minute. Below that, address. So you've got your address for your client. You can come in here and change this. So when you create a purchase order, for example, you can have it delivered to a different address. Below that, financial details. So if you've got a budget on the project, you can come in and enter that. Any details we add in here can be edited later. So if the budget does change, you can edit that. Below that, project scope. So I'm just going to add in here something really simple. Stick to budget. You can go as crazy you want with details here, things a client likes, things that are important to the client, just for you and your team to know exactly what this project scope looks like. Once you've added that in, select done in the bottom right hand corner, and that's going to create a new project for you. So the first thing we have is our project overview. So at the moment, it's pretty blank. We haven't really done anything with the project yet. We've just created it. But what we can do is start getting the ball rolling. First thing you might want to do is actually invite your subcontractor to your project. To do that, just select invite in the top right hand corner. You can share the client dashboard for this project, which is really handy for keeping them in the loop. Or you can invite subcontractors or suppliers to collaborate on the project as well. So once you click on that, you'll be able to see your list of subcontractors or suppliers you've already added into the software. So in those account settings that Melanie walked you through. Once you go ahead and select a specific person, you've got a short personal message which is going to be sent in the body of the email. And then once you've gone ahead and invited them, what you'll be able to do is go back into our invite list, go back into subcontractor and supplier, and have a look at who you've invited, what their role is, and what the status is. For example, still pending, they haven't accepted my invite just yet. If for some reason you've made a mistake, you can remove them, or if they haven't received that email and they want it resent to reach the top of their inbox, you can click resend invitation. So, project overview. So this is going to give you a quick snapshot of everything you've done in the project so far. So, for example, quick access is going to show us the latest documents created within the project. Below that, we've got messages. So any messages sent between yourself and the client directly will appear here. And you can also come in and send messages from this section as well, just as a quick access. You can also come in below and assign tasks. So these tasks can be assigned to your client or team members, just to make sure everyone's on track of the project and everyone knows what needs to be done. Below that, you've got upcoming events. So most of these will autofill during the life cycle of your project. For example, if you create an estimate or an invoice, the due date will automatically come up here so you can keep track of all of your documents and make sure everything's paid or approved on time. Below that, we've got our files. So again, any attachments sent throughout the project, they go into auto-populate here. The next tab we've got in our project is our messages tab. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but you can come in and continue your email thread. Below that, we've got our timeline. So I'm not going to touch base on this at the moment. We'll link back to this in a minute, but basically you can come in here and create as many stages for your client or internally to keep track of the life cycle of the project. We'll touch base on this in a minute. We'll come back to this. Then we've got our estimates. So this is where we want to start going into a little bit more detail. So we've got a project, awesome, we want to send them an estimate. When we click on New Estimate in the top right hand corner, we've got 3 options. 1, from scratch, which is what we'll do together. 2 is upload. If you have created a quote in Excel or another software and you want to export that into a PDF, you can then upload that in the software here. Third option is a template. So I'll show you how you can create a template, but basically once you've created a quote from scratch, you can then save it as a template. So moving forward, you don't have to create them from scratch each time. You come in and just select a template. Before I do go ahead and create one from scratch, one thing I want to make clear is that everyone does have different packages and different package levels. Depending on your package type and package level, you may not have access to every single feature that I do show you today. And if you do have access to them, they may look a little bit different. So if you have any questions on why yours looks different, feel free to reach out and we can walk you through it. So I'm going to go in, create a new estimate from scratch. So once I create a new estimate, the first thing you may want to do is give it a new title. So in the very top left hand corner, I can click into this box here and maybe I want to change it from the project name to the specific room or package I'm working on. Next, I've got my costs. Do you want this cost to include or exclude GST? And what is the due date for payment or approval on your document? Once you've got that set up, we can start adding in our line items. So what I'm actually going to do is collapse this total and activity stream on the right hand side. We'll touch base on that in a minute, but that just lets me focus on my line items in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead, click on add items, and I'm going to go ahead and add one from scratch. So I'm going to start by creating a new one. Again, yours may look a little bit different from this point, but the overall information's all the same. So first thing I'm going to do is add in a title. So this is going to be kind of like my subheading in my quote. So I'm going to come in and say tile 600 by 600 millimeters. This is material. My category, which is going to be my heading for this line item. Maybe I'm going to pop it under, let's say kitchen. You can create any type of category just by typing it in and then clicking to create. You can also type in to find existing categories that you've got. So just rather than scrolling through the list, you can easily search that up. Below that, I've got my pricing. So it is best practice to always have your library or unit price in by one quantity. This way, every time you add it to a document, you don't need to figure out, your quantities based off your pricing. Always have it on the quantity of 1 and work out your unit costs. These are tiles, so I'm going to have my unit type as square meter. If you have something like a appliance, an oven, you may want to do pieces, but you can add in custom unit types. So you can add in your own. And once you've got that in, hit enter and it becomes a new list. If you want to remove it, you can just hover over and click on delete, the trash can icon. Like I said, I'm going to go with square meter and I'm just going to remove that test. Below that, I've got cost per unit. So from my supplier directly, I might get trade or wholesale. So I'm just going to pop that in there so I know how much I'm purchasing these tiles for. I'm then going to add on a markup because I want to make profit. So I'm going to go in with a standard 15% markup. If I know my markup dollar amount, not a percentage, no worries, you can just come in here and type in your client price. That way you know you're making a $40 profit on each square meter. I can actually go one step further and I can say to my client, I'm giving this to you for $120, but it actually retails for $150, so I'm saving you $30 per square meter. Below that, we've got, does this cost include or exclude GST? And what our GST rate is. Below that, we've got our vendor details. So here you can add in your vendor, so when you do go ahead and create your purchase orders, it's automatically linked. I've then got my client-facing description, so I can come in here and I can say, perfect for the kitchen, floors and splashback. just as an example. You can say if you want this description to be used on your purchase orders as well. Terrible example to send to your supplier, so I'm just going to go ahead and write, please confirm tiles are from the same batch. Below that, I've got SKU and manufacturer, and I've got the option to upload images. I'm just going to skip that for now and select create, and that's going to then create my new line item. So this here is where I might want to go ahead and add in extra items. For the first time, you'll need to create them all new, but then you can go ahead from your library and start adding in all of your line items. So here we've got a favorites and your items. So favorites are things that I've gone ahead and added that I use often. Otherwise, you've got your items, which are all of the previously added line items. So I can come in here, have a look at everything I've added in from my kitchen category. I can select that and it'll add into my quote. If I want to, I can click on my star icon and actually have that in my favorite list as well. I'm just going to go in with a couple of appliances for the kitchen as well. Let's go with a double door fridge and a gas top oven. I'm just going to keep it basic. I'm not going to add that many more line items. But basically I've got my two categories here. So the first one is kitchen, and below that we've got our appliances. So what I'm going to do is open up my kitchen. First thing I want to do now that I've got my quote all set up with all of my line items is change my quantities. So for my tiles, I'm thinking 45 square meters. I'm going to need 2 tapwares, and for my appliances, I'm only going to have 1 each. Second thing I can do is with my images I haven't got anything uploaded for, I can either upload them manually at this stage, or I can use my logo. So rather than keeping it as just a blank image, I can come in, use my logo and make it look that little bit more professional. You can also upload up to 5 images, so if you've got a couple of angles of the product you want to upload, you could do that as well. For things like labour, you can actually come in and upload the subcontractor's logo, so that's something that is quite handy as well. Now that I've got all of my line items in, what I might want to go ahead and do is customize my document. So I've got my customize option at the top. If I want, I can give the option for my client to approve per line item. Maybe I don't want them to see what room the product belongs to, or the client description I've set up. Once I've set up all my line items, I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to request a deposit for my client. So I'm just going to select request a deposit. I've got my dollar amount, so I can come in with maybe $50 or 50%. So that's something you can play around with as well. I've then got when I want my client to pay this. So maybe sometime in the new year. Create. So now I've got my deposit request, 50%, when I want it paid. Maybe I want to also schedule multiple payments just for the remaining amount. Every time you add a scheduled payment, it'll split it up per the remaining percentage. You can call them whatever you like, and you can give them custom due dates as well. So all of your due dates will be organized, all of your payment schedules will be organized per due date, as you can see here. Below that, we can upload our files. We've got T's and C's and memos. So with your T's and C's, you can come in and add templates. So these are all of my terms and condition templates I've already created within the system. So I can come in and edit them, or I can actually go back and save them as company defaults. So for the first time, you'll need to come in, create new, create your template, and just give it a title. And then you can come in and set that as an actual company default, which means that that'll automatically populate for every document type you've added it in for. For example, your estimates, invoices, retainers, purchase orders, variation orders, just all of the documents in total. With my memo, I might just want to pop in my bank details so my client can see that and think, okay, awesome, I'll just give her a bank transfer. Perfect. Now that I've set everything up and I'm happy with how everything looks, I'm going to go ahead and click on More Actions and save it as a template. So next time I have a job for a kitchen, I've got my standard layout, maybe I've got all of my services attached as well, then I'm just going to save it as a template. If I'm doing 4 kitchens and maybe all the tapware is the same, I would add all my tapware and duplicate and edit the document 4 times and then add in everything that's customized from there, rather than starting from scratch each time. Once I go ahead and click on Preview and Share, that's going to give me the option to see what the client sees before I send it off. So I can see my logo, company details, client details, due dates of my document, but also I've got all of my line items here as well. If I don't want my client to be seeing the description, I can turn that off. If I want them to see quantity and unit, I can turn that on. Maybe I don't want to show detailed pricing, I can turn that off. I can just go as detailed or as vague to my client as I want to be. I've also got the option to require an electronic signature. So I do always recommend having that ticked, because when your client goes ahead and approves or declines each line item, or approves the document in total, they're going to have to scroll down to the bottom and e-sign the document. Because if you've gone ahead and maybe they've approved all of the appliances, you've thought, okay, awesome, they've approved it, let's go ahead and purchase them, and then the client turns around and says, hey, actually I changed my mind, I don't want that anymore. You can always say, well, I've gotten your approval, you're going to have to pay me for that difference. So once a client does approve and decline each line item, it locks in the document and it can't be edited any further. So I always recommend, if you've got an indecisive client, using this tool, because it just backs yourself up a little bit. You've also got the option on deciding how you want these to be split up. So if you have approval and decline, and your client's gone ahead and declined these 2 line items, do you want that to deduct $3,000 off your deposit request, by a percentage amount, or by a fixed amount? Once you're ready, go ahead, send it off to your client. You can add yourself in, or you can export it as a PDF, email it, and then confirm and send. Let's pretend I've gone ahead and sent this off to my client and they've approved it. I'm just going to do that on my client's behalf. Click on More Actions and Approve or Decline. One thing I quickly want to touch base on is, if the client does approve and decline each line item, it'll automatically lock the document. So like I said before, the document's finalised, client's approved it. If you don't want your client to lock it in just yet, if they're quite indecisive, you can actually come into More Actions, Approve per line item, and approve or decline for them. That way you can save it, have those there, but not actually submit it just yet. That way if the client does change their mind, you can come back and approve it, and then select Save and Submit, which will lock the document so we can no longer click into quantities and square meterage and pricing. It's all locked in. So now that everything's approved, we want to go ahead and get the ball rolling with our other documents. So for example, purchase orders. I'm just going to tick all these line items and I'm going to click Create Purchase Orders. So that's going to automatically bring up all my line items and link in the supplier automatically linked into those products. If I want to change the vendor allocated, I can come in and create that as well. Once I click Create Purchase Orders, it'll generate those purchase orders, but it won't send them to your vendor. So they're sitting in there, so when you're ready, you can come into your document, if needed, adjust any pricing, and then send them off as an order. So now we're in our Purchase Orders tab. I can click into a purchase order. It all looks very similar, so you can see exactly the same view as your estimate. And you've got the option to ship to a certain address. We've got the option to have a look at our line items and add in any missing details, as well as a shipping ETA. If needed, we can come in and customize the pricing. Maybe we've sent this off to our vendor and they've said, hey, you've listed it as 80, but it's actually 90. I can come in and edit that here. I can also add in tracking, so I'm still waiting for a quote. Maybe it's been delivered. maybe everything's done and it's installed. Once that's all done, I can log my payment, I can mark it as billed, and then I can go ahead and say, yep, I've paid them, I don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and create that. And that way I know, okay, awesome, it's done. If I go back into my project, I can go ahead and see that I've paid that one document. So I've paid the $4,000, I've got $5,000 owing to my vendors. From here, what I can do is go back into my estimate. So what I can actually do is click on my linked documents and go back into the exact document rather than clicking into estimates and finding which one was linked to each purchase order. So by clicking into that estimate, it's going to bring me back for me to then go, okay, awesome. Like I said, I quoted my client $80, but it's actually $90, which is an extra $10 per square meter, which is definitely going to add up. Rather than me be out of pocket, I'm going to tick these items and I'm going to convert these onto an invoice. So a finalized document, pretending again that the products have been delivered, services are complete. We want to wrap up the project into an invoice, transfer all of our payment schedules into that final invoice for my client. So this is the opportunity I have, rather than be out of pocket, update that pricing and see that update in real time. Once I've customized all I need to, again, preview and share, send this off to your client and have the whole project wrapped up. So during the life cycle of your project, and again, this might depend on your package level, you might have access to variation orders. So along the way, if your client does change their mind, perhaps they want to add on an extra kitchen, doubling your quantities, you can come in and create a variation order and update those line items. For example, if I click back into my document, I'm going to go ahead and tick maybe the tiles as an example, and I'm going to double the quantity to resend it off to my client so they can see the payment difference amount. So I'm going to tick those tiles, create variation order. Again, looks very similar, so we're not learning a whole new thing each time. But this way we can see the documents it lives on, description, so maybe here I want to say added an extra kitchen level. Here I'm going to double quantities, whatever that may be, square meter, pricing. If I want to as well, I can add a variation order fee, and then I can resend that off to my client, and they can see the total due amount, which is that price difference. Again, preview and share, send it off to your client. During the life cycle of your project, there are so many other little tools that you've got access to. For example, we've got our notes tab. So this is really handy to keep on track of things that you want to share with your team, but not your client. So make sure client has samples organized. Is everyone on page of due dates from documents, coming in and actually logging calls as well. So maybe you had a call with the client, you can come in and recap all the details about that specific interaction with the client. I'm just going to hop back into overview and have a look at what those changes look like. So now we've got access to our recently viewed documents, that variation order, estimate, and invoice. I've then got my message history, and I've got all of the due dates for my documents coming up. So I can see my 3 purchase orders, my invoices, all of those payment schedules in one place. So I hope that gives you some confidence in working with your projects. Feel free to flick through and have a bit of a play with it, even if you want to create a test project first, listing your client as maybe your personal email address or a family member, and that way you can have a good play with the project tool. Okay, so now that we've gone through the project, let's go through project procurement. So we're going to go through 3 features: the timeline, the time tracking tool, and the daily logs. So first we'll start off with the timeline. So we'll click into the timeline tool in our project dashboard, and I'm just going to go ahead and collapse that. So with the project timeline, sometimes managing your calendar and communicating changes to the client or even team members feels like a full-time job in itself. So what you can actually do is come into this intuitive project timeline tool and share this with those members. So in our project timeline at the top, we can select share. That'll give you the option to share it with your client. You can share it with team members or subcontractors and suppliers. So you can turn this on and off and give them access to certain tools. In that, they're going to be able to view all of the stages you have created for this project. So the whole idea is giving your homeowners or team members transparency so they can get updates in real time, pretty much freeing you up to actually focus your time on the actual project rather than keeping the client in the loop. So what you can see is all of our stages we have created within the project and each Gantt chart allocating to their date. What you can come and do is add in a new stage by clicking add in the top right hand corner, giving your stage a title. You can allocate this to belong to the whole day. You can give it a certain time frame if that's what you prefer. You can give it a location and a certain color. Once you create that stage, it'll add in as a new chart. You can extend the days or change the days it falls on by clicking and dragging in your interactive Gantt chart line item. For a more focused view, you can actually collapse each stage name and then it'll present into the actual Gantt chart colored allotment. With your Gantt chart, you can fit everything in the one view. You can focus on today, or if you prefer, you can work out of the calendar view as well. To make it that little bit more easier, you can actually click on these three dots and sync your calendar. So if you want to work out of your Google Calendar and see all of those events you've got on today, as well as your Houzz Pro events, you can sync in your calendar and have it viewed all in the one spot. The second tool we'll cover is time and expenses. So we'll hop into finances and then hop into time and expenses. So this allows you to track your time without having to guess. Where was my time going? Where was I working on a certain event? You can actually track your time as you go. So whether you're tracking your own time or a certain team member's time, you can come into your time and expenses tool, click on your stopwatch in the top right hand corner and start tracking. Once you do select start stopwatch, you can allocate a project, you can come in with a specific service, and you also come in with your rates and GST. If you're just logging your time, you're not necessarily wanting to charge this, you can tick billable and that'll allocate it in your time and expenses chart if you want to charge this. If you have unticked billable, you can still charge your client this time. You can then come in with a description. So here I've got a consultation. Maybe we are organizing samples. Once you do select start stopwatch, it'll start tracking your time in the top right hand corner and you can add in as many stopwatches. If you're multitasking, which I'm sure you guys do a lot, you can track your time as you go across all different projects and services. Another way of tracking your time is by manually tracking. So we can click on new entry in the top right hand corner. And this way we're doing it more manually. So maybe we're backtracking. So here, same process, we're going with a specific project, a team member, a service, all similar items. Rates, billable, GST rates, but here's where it gets a little bit different. So we're backtracking here. So we can open up our calendar tool and maybe we're logging time for last week. We can then allocate how many hours we worked on. Maybe we're traveling here and we're going to log another one for maybe next week or whatever your dates are. You can add in a description and you can actually upload files, which comes in handy for expenses as well. Once you click on save, that'll add in a new entry. We can see at the top here, I've got my 2 new entries for my dates, my services, and my hours. If you wanted to charge this to your client, you can actually tick these 2 boxes and generate an invoice. So that way you can track your time for you and your team members to understand, one, where your hours are being spent, making sure your time's being used well, as well as invoicing your clients directly through Houzz Pro. You can also export your list that you're looking at here. So if you did want to organize it per team member and then export this list for you to keep track of where your time is going into an Excel file, you can do that as well. Let's say 2 hours went by, we can come back into our stopwatch and log our time, or we can delete it entirely. So that is tracking your time, pretty much allowing you to invoice or just see where your time is going. Just makes it easier for you and your team to track your time and expenses and be entered at convenience from your office, or you've even got the mobile app, you can track your time as you go as well. I'm just going to hop back into my project and then I'm going to go into the daily logs tool. So this is really useful in keeping your clients up to date, again, with what's going on within the project. So once you are within a project, we're just going to click on daily logs, and here we can view all the logs created within the project. So here we've got the one entry we've got. We can create new ones as we go, but these are just ways for you to keep track of what's going on. So by default, it is shared with, as you can see in the top right hand corner, team members. If you want, you can come in and share this with your clients as well as subs and suppliers. If you want as well, you can actually create these daily, weekly, there is no restriction, you can create as many as you'd like. And you've also got the option for your subcontractors to create these as well. So they can come in and give a recap on what they've done throughout the day on site. Once you create all your daily logs and share them, they're going to be shared on the client dashboard for everyone to collaborate and just see what's going on. So those are the 3 procurement tools. Most of them can be accessed within each project, so feel free to get in and start creating.
Okay, so now we're going to have a look at sharing the client dashboard. And we've mentioned a couple times throughout the webinar about creating these positive client experiences. The dashboard is definitely one of the features you can utilize to foster this. So I'm currently within a project. Each project has their own client dashboard, and all I need to do is click the invite button on the project homepage. I'll get a drop down and I'm going to select client dashboard. And this will link me through to the preview of my client dashboard. Now, I would recommend sharing this with your clients at the very beginning of their project and asking them to bookmark it, because as the project progresses, this will be a one-stop link for them to come to see all of the moving parts and correspondence that you are sending to them about their project. They won't need to go into numerous emails and texts. Everything they need will be in the one spot, making it easy for them to work with you. So let's have a look at how you can share this. You'll notice on the right hand side, this panel says that I can share it as an email, and I absolutely can. Or if I want to send it as a link instead, I can select the link option, copy this link, and I could hyperlink the dashboard in another email to my client if I wanted to. Okay. I can also have some options here on how I would like to display the totals on the dashboard. So do I want them to see the total outstanding, total paid, retainer balance, credit balance? It's up to me, and I can see that that will reflect as I make these options here. Okay. So this is the client preview view, and we're on the home page. So it's showing us a snapshot of all the information currently stored in the dashboard, including any open tasks. You'll see here I have a proposal or an estimate that's ready for approval, any messages or the last message that we sent, the totals, and then also attachments. But as I actually click into each of these details on the left-hand side, we'll go into messages, it's going to show us absolutely everything. So all the messages back and forth with this client from when we were interacting with them in the lead stage to after when we converted to a project and began sending them documents. The financial tab is all of those documents that we are sending. So any proposals, invoices, or estimates that we've sent, any that are outstanding, need approval, need payment, they'll all be listed here. The timeline is also visible here, and again, it's a really great way for you to allow your clients to visualize the different stages of their projects. Any attachments, so any attachments you may have sent via email or any files that you would have uploaded into the file section of the project to share with your client will be visible here. And then daily logs. And also remembering that your subcontractors, if you give them permission to daily logs, they can log within here as well and keep both you and the client up to date in this section. So really giving them that transparency and letting them understand exactly what's happening with their project at any given time.
So within your Houzz Pro account, you do have access to creating a mood board. So this is a really great visual tool that allows you to collaborate with your client before talking specifics and having to redesign furniture options. So to access your mood board tool, select design and select mood boards. That's going to give you options to create a new mood board across any projects that you've got going on, but also allow you to look at any existing mood boards you've got. So once you go to create a new mood board, you've got a couple of options in the top left-hand corner. So this is your mood board toolbar. So the first option you do have is upload photos. So this allows you to upload any image you've saved to your computer or an ID book on your Houzz profile. Once you've added in that photo, it adds a product into your mood board for you to then resize, move around. If you need to, you can flip which way it's facing. You've got the option to crop as well. For example, if you wanted a material swatch, you could actually crop that so it adds in as you'd like. You've also got options to remove or restore backgrounds. As products usually come with white backgrounds, you can come in and actually remove it. That way you've got that layering aspect that you can see here. You've also got the option of adding in a floor plan. So any floor plan you have created within Houzz Pro, you can actually link that into your mood board like you can see here. You can come in with color swatches like we've got in the middle here. So you can add any kind of color that you'd like. You've got the option to show the swatch detail or remove that if you'd like. You can come in with text and give it a title. You can play around with fonts, colors, sizes, bold or italic, so you can get pretty creative here. You've also got the option to draw. So you can come in with a color selection tool and draw anything you'd like in. You can also come in with a point tool or an underline, like we've done here, and point to a specific product. And my favorite is actually the measuring tool. So you can come in and you can say to your client, perhaps this sofa lounge is X amount tall. So you can come in with your dimensions here as well. Once you've created your mood board, every time you add in a product, it'll add into your product list in your top right hand corner. So this way you can see every product that you've allocated in your mood board. You've also got a source tab which allows you to source the Houzz library. So if you did want a product placed in, you can just select it, and again it'll add into the middle of your mood board for you to then resize and move where you need it to go. And again, every time you add that in, it'll add into your product list. Once you've created your mood board and you're happy with it, you can come in and actually share this with your client. So first thing we want to do is make sure we've saved it. We can then select print, and this is going to allow you to, one, print it off so you can maybe bring it to meetings, but also in your destination, you can save it as a PDF. So if you wanted, you could actually come in, save as PDF, attach it to certain documents, maybe you've got estimates or variation orders, anything like that you want to save it to, or you can actually attach it to an email. So as a PDF, you can pretty much go crazy with it. If you want as well, you can come in with your mood board toolbar and create a new mood board, save it as, share it to Houzz, or search up any help you need. So that's how you use your mood board tool. Again, you've got all of access to every mood board you've created within your account, and you've got the option to remove ones that you don't need as well. So our second visual tool is floor plans. So you can actually create a floor plan within Houzz Pro, generate a bit of a rendering, and actually send this to your client. So click on design and then 3D floor plans. So if you have installed the mobile app, you can actually take your mobile on site, measure up through your mobile device by following the prompts on the app, and actually uploading that to your desktop view for you to then go back into the office and start adding in products and renderings. So this is also collaborative on your mobile. If you don't want to go on site or you don't have access to the site, you can always come in and add a floor plan in manually as well. So click add a floor plan. That's going to open up a new tab with your floor plan. That's a blank canvas, rectangle room. So this is your opportunity to come in and start building up your room. First thing you might want to do is give it a title. So maybe this is a bedroom for a specific client. You can then come in, zoom out, click on a wall and that'll highlight blue. You can hold down shift and click on multiple walls and they'll both highlight blue. And you can click on the trash can to remove those walls. To add in new walls, we're going to click on our draw walls pen in the top left hand corner, click on a certain place and add in those new walls. Just as a bit of reference, each square is 1 meter. If you've added in your walls and it's a little bit off measurements, what you can do is actually hop into Dollhouse and get a little 3D model of what you've created. So you can click on a wall and start measuring with specific dimensions. So you can come in, maybe you want that to be exactly 6 meters. You can also click on an internal wall or an external wall and there'll be separate measurements. That's something to keep in mind as well. Once you've done that, hop back into your floor plan view and start customizing a little bit more. So clicking on a wall, you can change the wall thickness. If you needed, you can start adding in your ceiling height, doors and windows. I want to keep the ceiling height the same, but with our doors, all we need to do is find the look of the door we want, select the look we want, it'll add into the middle of our floor plan, and we can start measuring, placing these where we want them to go. So maybe I want it on this wall, maybe it doesn't flip the way I want it to, I can always change that by clicking on flip. Once we have added in a product, we can always allocate specific dimensions. So you can come in on your right hand side and change those to be what you need them to be. Once you've done that, if you come in and duplicate a product that has customized dimensions, it'll duplicate and keep those dimensions as well. If we go in and add in a product from here, even though we've added in the glass door panel, the same as this one, it won't keep the dimension, so it'll add it in as a new product. I'm just going to add in maybe 2 doors, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with some more window options. So I'm going to scroll down to my windows. Again, I'm just going to click on the look that I want, so maybe a single, and again, it's going to add into the middle, and I just need to drag it along the walls where I want it to go. With our windows, it's a little bit different. So now we've also got the distance from the floor. So we can come in and change that as well. I always recommend coming in and just hopping back into Dollhouse every now and then just to make sure everything looks about right. So we can see here I did not calculate that properly. So maybe I want to go back into my floor plan, remove and just stick to what was already there because I am not a home professional. Hop back into Dollhouse, make sure it looks good. Awesome. So now that I've got my structural elements down, my wall dimensions, my doors and windows, I'm going to start adding in my products. So as I said before, I'm going to make this a bedroom. So I'm going to hop into my bedroom furniture category. I'm going to click on the product that I want. It's going to add again into the middle. I click on it, drag it where I need it to go and customize those dimensions. Once I've added that in, I can come in with all of my options. Feel free to go through all the categories, see what's right for you. For example, I'm going to just click on float shelving. Again, I'm going to click and drag it to where I want it to go. And then I'm going to go into Dollhouse to make sure that I'm happy with it. So to me, awesome, looks good. Before I send this to my client, I can customize it a little bit more. So I can actually click on the floor and add in flooring. So I've got a couple of wood and carpet options I can have a look at here. But I can also go into Dollhouse and actually customize the walls as well. So we can go one step further, click on each wall. Again, you can hold down shift and click on multiple walls at once and add in a paint color. So maybe I'm going to add in a a grey wall. What I'm going to do is actually go into a floor plan that I've already created just to kind of show you what the difference is. So this is something that's been created. I've got kind of like a unit style. I've got my separate rooms. You can create as many rooms as you'd like. I've got all my dimensions in. I can go back into Dollhouse view, have a look at the 3D model. So now I'm going to see what it looks like all come together and have a look at it all as one. I've also got the option of walkthrough. So what that's going to do is actually put me inside the room so my client can look around and see how it all comes together. Once I've got it all down pat and I'm happy with it, what I'm going to do is click on share in the top right hand corner and actually copy this link and send it to my client. That way my client will be able to look at floor plan, dollhouse and walk through and look at what I've created. They won't be able to click on it and edit the dimensions or add in extra products. They're just looking at what you've created. You can always duplicate a floor plan you've created, rename it or delete it. You can create as many floor plans as you'd like across all projects. So feel free to come in, create a couple of drafts, play around with the mobile app as well, and generate a couple of floor plans and send it to your client.
So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. I know we've covered a lot of information. So just a reminder, if we didn't answer your question, we will be following up via email later today. Or if you had subscription specific questions, we'll be passing those on to your dedicated client success manager to reach out to you directly. Or if you need to get in contact with your client success manager, don't forget you can find them located on the homepage of your Houzz Pro account. Or additionally, if you need any extra support for how to use your Houzz Pro account, you can click the help button in the top right hand corner and submit a support inquiry to us, the support team. Be sure to select the topic that you need help with and include as much detail as possible, and then click submit and we will follow up with you as well. Lastly, we are sending the link to the Houzz Pro app in the chat box now. If you haven't downloaded that already, go ahead and click on the link, as that will help you manage and market your business on the go with our app. So that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to be working with you.